What's going on, everyone? Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Matthew Peterson. And coming up on today's show, we got the latest Jakeem Grant unfortunate injury news, as that just appears to be the theme of training camp. Wide receivers unable to stay healthy. Real bummer to see. So we're going to catch you up to speed on that. Plus, could Deshaun Watson be playing week 1? Well, it depends on what week 1 we're talking about here. Also, with Roquan Smith requesting a trade, I've seen some chatter out there of, hey, could the Browns be interested? Probably not, but we'll talk about it because it's the biggest NFL news of the day. But let's start things off with looking at the Jakeem Grant injury news. Really sucks to see he was carted off the field at practice today, and the initial fear is that it is an Achilles injury. Never what you want to see. And it sucks to see this because it really felt like Jakeem Grant, who's an all-pro returner, was going to make maybe a bit of a step forward in the receiving department and add on to his game. Ian Rappaport somewhat confirming what we're all afraid of right now, which is Browns all-pro returner and receiver Jakeem Grant is feared to have torn his Achilles in practice today. He'll have tests to confirm, but would be an incredibly unfortunate reality. Sucks to see. There's just no other way around it. Injuries suck. They even suck more in training camp because it doesn't feel like it came at a price of anything, but that's the reality of the situation. That's football. So let's just send Jakeem Grant some good vibes from the Dawg Pound, typing his jersey number 9 in the comments section. Hope he can make a quick and speedy recovery, and he can be the speedster that we all know him to be, or we're all going to find out he was going to be, because he was great for the Bears for part of last season, and he's had good stretches with the Dolphins before that. So let's type his jersey number. Let's show him some love down in the comments section. This is only the latest of a handful of injuries to happen to the wide receiver room, right? Javon Wims, who was sick to start training camp. Bell had a stress fracture in his foot. Anthony Schwartz dealt with a knee injury. He returned to practice, had a bad start, and then kind of rebounded down the stretch, so that was good to see. Michael Woods is going to miss some time with a hamstring injury. Then Jakeem Grant, not for sure an Achilles, but it definitely appears that is the trend right now. And I couldn't even fit the UDFA Isaiah Weston on screen, who went down with an ACL injury. The next question you're probably asking is, okay, moving forward, is it time to start looking at free agency? And I mean like real free agency, not no-name receivers that went undrafted and are just camp bodies, but actual potential contributors and people that carry some weight. Because when you look at the remaining free agent pool, sure, it isn't the sexiest, but it's not the worst, right? Will Fuller is definitely the best, highest ceiling of the bunch. The issue is the injuries, and it doesn't feel like you're actually solving much of a problem if you want to replace an injured receiver with an often injured receiver. But it's mid-August. You can't, beggars can't be choosers. We'll look at him and T.Y. Hilton closer. Cole Beasley is an interesting name to keep an eye on, along with Emmanuel Sanders. Deshaun Jackson has expressed some interest in the Browns. Now, there are 3 other guys I want to look at here for a moment, because these guys have been getting a little bit of buzz lately. They aren't household names among free agent receivers at this point, but Allen Hurns, Adam Humphries, and D.D. Westbrook would probably be a more lower key route to explore and look into if Andrew Berry goes, all right, we need a receiver just to keep drills and practice moving along, but I don't want to send shockwaves across the Browns news cycle, so let's bring in someone like D.D. Westbrook, right? But let me know what you guys are thinking. I'm going to give you a name that I would like to see the Browns sign if they want to go that route in just a moment. But take this advantage right now to get your Browns predictions or your pick for who you would like to see the Browns sign in free agency. The 2 most popular names, no doubt, Will Fuller and T.Y. Hilton. We've seen these stats before. Will Fuller, of course, overlapping with Deshaun Watson for quite some time while down in Houston. They put up good numbers, 22 touchdowns in 33 games. The issue was Will Fuller was never even able to play really close to a full season. Now, another interesting name to watch for is T.Y. Hilton. We go from Deshaun Watson's Robin to maybe Jacoby Brissett, because chances are Brissett, he's going to start some games this year. So maybe bring in a familiar face with him. They overlapped back in 2019. Unfortunately, T.Y. only played 10 games, but he got off to a strong start with Jacoby Brissett. And then last year, if you're curious what Hilton was able to do with the Colts, he had a neck injury, and that's never what you want to see. That's not a calm injury just to overcome after one offseason. That's the kind of stuff that may ultimately result in you hanging up the cleats. If I had to pick, give me Will Fuller. I've seen arguments for T.Y. Hilton and Cole Beasley, and that might be a more safer route. But at the end of the day, Will Fuller is under 30 years old. We've seen that when he's healthy, he can be a phenomenal wide receiver too. That's what he was in Houston, behind DeAndre Hopkins. He probably would be wide receiver 3. I think the edge would go to DPJ just because he's got more of a rhythm and foundation with the Browns so far. Sure, there's the injury side of things, but why not get weird? Why not have a little bit of fun in the middle of August? Bring Will Fuller in, see if he's healthy, see if he's in shape, and let's have some fun, right? Let's get weird with it. Let's go and bring a bigger name like Will Fuller into Berea and not, no offense, a D.D. Westbrook of the world. Now, Browns preseason week 1 is just around the corner, and we are going to be having a live watch party for the game. Preseason can be slow at times, let's call it what it is, but it can still be a fun opportunity because you know what? Football is back, according to some, not me. Football's back week 1 in Charlotte against the Panthers. But we do get a chance to see some guys who are on the roster bubble trying to make a name for themselves and whatnot. Curious to see, for example, what will Demetric Felton's role look like if you want to get nerdy with it? Or what about Deshaun Watson? All right, 6:45 Eastern this Friday. Join us at the channel. Now, I mentioned Deshaun Watson because there's a decent chance he is going to play in Jacksonville. In fact, you could bump it up from the word decent and maybe go as far as to say probable, most likely, near definitive chance. All right, 92.3, The Fan tweeting out head coach Kevin Stefanski on whether Deshaun Watson will definitely play in the preseason. It's likely he will play in one of these games. Yes. Which game? Stefanski's keeping it close to the chest. He is not letting a lot out. That's who Kevin is, right? He never really lets himself be an open book to the media, but it would be something to see Deshaun Watson trot out there week 1 of the preseason. Might be the last time he plays for who knows how many weeks, but that's just the reality of the case at the moment. But at the end of the day, give me Deshaun Watson football. That would be awesome to see. Now, speaking of our guy number 4, we've got more predictions. I don't want to spend too much time on this here, but Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio, just throwing a dart at the board saying, my current, mostly wild guess on the Deshaun Watson final punishment from the NFL, 12 games and $10 million fine. Albert Breer, Peter King the other day, they went with 10 games. It's all guesses. It's all speculation at this point here, but at least we're going to keep you guys in the know on the latest Browns rumors. Now, another way to support the show, if you love what we do here at the Cleveland Browns Report, is you can follow us over on Rumble. So check us out, rumble.com/Browns Report. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. Rumble is a very similar site to YouTube with great video content. We put all of our stuff over there as well. So if that's more of your thing, check us out when you go to rumble.com/Browns Report. Final story of today's show. It's just the biggest storyline in the NFL. We all woke up to Roquan Smith, the Chicago Bears star linebacker, requesting a trade after failed negotiations attempts to get a contract extension. And I think all 31 NFL fan bases at some point had someone go, could we trade for Roquan? Even if it doesn't make the most sense, which it really doesn't for the Browns, we'll still unpack the idea of could this blockbuster trade get done? Because when you're a star player like Roquan Smith, that's what happens. Now, Roquan, like I said, has been a star since he came into the league back in 2018. Former first-round pick from the Georgia Bulldogs, and he has been the most consistent thing on the Chicago Bears defense the last 4 seasons. And that includes a defense with Khalil Mack, but Roquan only missing 4 games so far in his NFL career. Had a torn pec back in 2019, but the last 2 years been rocking and rolling. Career high, 163 tackles this past season, 12 for loss, 3 sacks. He's got the athletic ability to help out in the pass department. He's got some INTs to go along with it, and he wants to join this group of guys here. The top 5 highest paid off-ball linebackers in the NFL, led by Darius Shaquille Leonard, who just got that extension, and he's making $19.7 million. Listen, Roquan, he does not want to have Zach Cunningham money. He's looking to maybe be the number 1 highest paid linebacker in the league, or at the very least, right behind Darius Leonard. Because Leonard's probably got him beat in terms of who you'd rather have at a linebacker and just comparing stats and whatnot. But the way the NFL market works is it's not about who the better player is. It's about who got paid most recently, right? And they just want to top one another. And Roquan, he's got a decent case to make $20 million a season. Does he fit with the Browns? When you're a star player, like, yes, you could make room for Roquan, but I don't think it's really the most logical move for Andrew Berry to make. You've got JOK. Anthony Walker probably doesn't get enough, I don't want to say praise, he's not a dog, but enough recognition for what a sneaky good signing this has been the last 2 seasons. Taki's on the last year of his rookie contract. You got a lot of optimism in Jacob Phillips, 3rd-round pick out of LSU, who's finally, hopefully healthy, and he was a co-starter with Walker on the depth chart here. Yes, if you brought Roquan on, he starts immediately, and this defense is better. But is it so much better that you need to give up draft capital to do it? I think a Roquan trade would look something like this. I had a little fun with it. I know the Bears need a receiver, so you toss in Anthony Schwartz to kind of lighten the draft capital you have to give up. But the Browns get Roquan and a 7th-round pick. The Bears get 2023 2nd-round pick, a future 6, and Anthony Schwartz to not have it be too much on the draft side. I've been tossing and turning a little bit about what a Roquan trade will look like if he does end up getting dealt here. Linebackers aren't going for first these days. It just doesn't seem like any GM wants to part ways with that kind of pick for that type of position. They're kind of the running back of the defense. But a 2nd, probably in the cards, might fall to a 3rd. But would you guys do this trade? Like, let's have a quick chat here. Would you trade this amount of stuff for Roquan Smith? A 2nd, a 6th, and Anthony Schwartz entering his 2nd season. Let me know with a simple Y for yes or N for no if you would pull the trigger on this trade right here. At the end of the day, as fun as it is to play Madden and talk about Roquan joining this Browns defense, because it's already a stacked defense. Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, JOK, Denzel Ward, Grant Delpit, John Johnson, Greg Newsome. The list goes on of studs and playmakers on that side of the football. To add Roquan to that would be unfair. I would honestly be okay with Josh Dobbs starting most of the season. If Roquan Smith was added to this defense, I still think they could get the job done. But financially, Roquan wants to be in that $20 million-ish range. The Browns, they have given out a lot of cheddar this offseason. There ain't enough room to go around for Roquan to be added. You've got Deshaun Watson making $54. These are the 2023 cap hits next year, because Roquan carries a cap hit this year of about $9 million. That's what an incurring team would take on. The Browns could make that happen, no problemo. But then they got to look around and go, how are we going to feed all these mouths, right? Watson, Garrett, Cooper, Teller, Chubb. I couldn't even fit players like Denzel Ward onto this list, and he just got $100+ million. So it doesn't look like there's really any way this could happen. Even though Andrew Berry is the salary cap wizard, this might be like just too tall of a mountain for him to climb. All right, everyone, that is going to do it for us on today's show. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Join us for our live preseason week 1 watch party this Friday night, 6:45 Eastern. No live show on Thursday, unfortunately, because of that, but we'll keep you guys updated with more Browns news and rumors throughout the week.